Good morning. It is Miss Sublet, and I have met some of you all um, last week. I think it was Miss Lakin's class, and who else was it? I can't remember. But last week I did teach some guidance on second steps, if you remember, in some of those classes. And today we are going to start our bullying intervention program. And we're going to talk a lot about what bullying is, okay? Then we are going to watch a little video about a bullying situation. And we're also going to talk about what we need to do when we have a bullying situation going on in our school. Okay, so first, I want to go over the 3 R's of bullying intervention. Okay, the first one is called recognize. Okay, recognize means that you can see that bullying is going on. Okay, there's a bullying incident, there's some kids bullying somebody. Like you can tell that's what's happening. That's recognize. So we have to learn what bullying is, right? And then the second R is report. If you can recognize that there's some bullying going on, then you need to report that to an adult, okay? Don't report it to another student. Don't go and tell another kid, hey, so and so's bullying, because they're a child just like you. They're just another student, okay? So you need to tell an adult. And then the third R is refuse. We are going to stop it and we're going to stand up to bullying. We're going to refuse to allow bullying in our school. Okay? So you will see these posters hanging in the hallway as a reminder how to stop bullying. All right? And also, I will be teaching in person on Fridays in Miss Richardson's music class. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you all in there as well. All right, so bullying, when someone isn't speaking or when someone isn't being safe and respectful, it can sometimes be called bullying. Let's all say that word together. 1, 2, 3. Bullying. Very good. Bullying is when someone keeps being mean to someone else on purpose. Okay? Notice that I said keeps being mean. All right. Bullying usually happens over and over again. Okay. So if someone pushes you one time, that's not bullying. That was a bad choice. Okay. If someone calls you a name one time, that's not bullying. That was just a bad choice. Okay. And then sometimes students will disagree with each other. Maybe you are fighting over whose turn it is to be in the front of the line. Well, that's not bullying, that's just a disagreement, okay? So bullying happens over and over again. No one wants or deserves to be bullied, okay? No one wants or deserves to be bullied. So there are lots of different types of bullying. All right, let's go back to our picture here. So there are lots of different types of bullying. All right. The first type of bullying, of course, is when someone is hurting someone else's body. Okay. So I want to take a second. I want you to turn and tell. All right. I want you to turn and tell whoever you're sitting by, and your teacher can pause it here if it takes a minute to figure out who your partner is. Turn and tell them what is physical bullying when someone hurts someone's body. I want you to share with each other what you think that means, okay? And again, your teacher should pause it here so you can have a few seconds to talk about it. All right, good job. If you all talked about kicking, hitting, pushing, tripping somebody, or damaging somebody else's stuff, like breaking their pencil or knocking their books off the desk, or maybe tearing up some artwork that they did or something like that, that is physical bullying. Okay. That's what probably happens most in kindergarten and first, second, third grade. Okay. Physical bullying. Now, another kind of bullying is when someone keeps saying something that hurts someone else's feelings. So the first type, it hurts their body. The second type, it hurts their feelings. What are some examples of this type of bullying? I don't want anybody using any names, okay? But I want you to turn and tell your partner, and your teacher can pause here so you can talk about the kind of bullying that hurts people's feelings. Okay, very good. If you all said things like name calling, making fun of someone, or teasing someone in a mean way, then you were right. Calling people names and teasing them, that is the type of bullying that hurts feelings. Very good. All right, and there's one more type of bullying that we're going to talk about. Getting other kids to be mean to someone else is also bullying. Okay? What are some examples of this kind of bullying? Without using names, again, I don't want you to say little Jimmy does this or Sally does that. Let's not use names. But what are some types of bullying that causes other kids to be mean to someone else? Okay? So turn and talk to your partner about this, and your teacher can pause it right here. All right, very good. If you said things like ganging up on someone to hurt that person's body, belongings, or feelings, very good. Not including someone just being mean, telling lies about someone, starting rumors, that is another type of bullying, or playing mean tricks on someone. So if you're outside and you don't want to play with someone and you say, "Come on, let's not play with her," that's bullying. If you get other kids involved in it and you don't want to play with someone and you make all the other kids not play with them too, that's also bullying. Very good. Bullying is not safe or respectful. Bullying is not allowed in our class or in our school. We don't have any tolerance for bullying in our school. What does tolerance mean, Miss Sublett? Well, tolerance means that we're not having it. Okay, that means the first time you're going to get in trouble. We're not giving second chances. There's not going to be any questions. Okay, because we have a zero tolerance policy. The good news is that all of us can help stop bullying together. We're going to learn how, and the first thing we're going to learn is how to recognize bullying when it happens to you or someone else. Recognize means you know what something is when you see it. So you can see here, recognize is our first R of helping to stop bullying. Okay. All right. So now we're getting to the fun part. I know that I had to go through a lot, but now we're getting to the fun part. We're going to watch a little story about Henry. Okay. So I want you all to watch this video all the way through, the full video, and then we're going to break it up in parts and see if we can't pick out when Henry recognizes, when he reports, and when he refuses. Okay. So let's get started on our video. Okay, so now we're going to watch the story again, but we're going to break it down into parts. Okay, we're going to stop it in different places and talk about what we think's going on with the three R's: report, recognize, and refuse. Okay, so how would you feel if someone was calling you mean names for something that you really couldn't help? Some kids do wear glasses. They can't help that. They have to be able to see, right? Some kids are smaller than other kids. They can't help that. They can't make themselves grow, right? And some kids maybe aren't as good in sports, or maybe they can't run as fast. And that's okay. Everyone is good at something. We're figuring out what those things are in kindergarten and first grade, okay? We have to figure out what we're good at. But we should never make fun of somebody for not being as good in something, or definitely for something that they cannot help, okay? So now we're going to watch the second part and see when Henry decides to report. Okay, so I want you all to tell me, um, how do you think Henry is feeling? How do you think Henry feels when Shireen is laughing at him? Just go ahead and say it out loud. How do you think he feels? Sad, hurt, it hurts his feelings. Very good. Do you think that Shireen is doing it and that it's funny, or do you think it's mean? Because I think Serene thinks it's funny, and I think she thinks everybody else thinks it's funny. But what do you think? Is Shireen funny, or is she mean? Just say it out loud. Mean. You're right. She is being mean. If you think Shireen is bullying, I want you to pat your head twice. If you think Serene is bullying, pat your head twice. Looks like everyone patted their head. Very good. What does Shireen do that is bullying? Remember, we've talked about the different types of bullying. What is she doing that's bullying? Teachers can pause it here to get some answers. What is Shireen doing that is bullying? Okay, if you all talked about that she bumps him really hard, that's the physical, right? She's hurting his body by doing that. She's also calling him four eyes, so that's hurting his feelings, okay? And she is laughing when Henry is crying. And she does it every day, so we know it's bullying. Now, if Shireen was only did this one time, that probably would have been a bad choice, but she's doing it every day and every time she sees Henry. So we know it's bullying. You recognize that what Shireen is doing is bullying. That's very good. Recognize is the first R. So let's continue on to part 3, okay? And we're going to talk about when he talks to Mr. Beeman, okay? So we will go over part 3. Okay, so in this video, Henry realizes that yes, he recognizes that he is being bullied, and he comes up with a plan on what to do about it. What are some clues that tell you how Henry feels? I'm going to give you a couple minutes to think about it. What are some clues, okay, that tell you how Henry feels? Okay, so if you said that the look on his face, okay, if we look at people's faces, we can tell how they feel, okay? He's crying, okay, he's showing tears. Usually, when people cry, that means that they're sad or upset about something, okay? He also doesn't want to eat because his belly is hurting. Sometimes when we're anxious or worried or scared, our belly hurts. Okay. And it seems like Henry is very worried and scared of Shireen. So therefore, his belly is starting to hurt and he can't even eat his lunch. Okay. Being teased or called names can hurt. The hurt is on the inside, but it can hurt as much as being hit or pushed. Okay. And it can keep you from doing the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. Henry is trying to eat his lunch, to have a good, healthy lunch so he feels good, but he can't because he's so sad and upset about Shireen. Okay? So Henry has recognized that he is definitely being bullied, and he comes up with a plan to talk to his teacher. All right? Now, let's pretend Shireen is in our class. Is she following our classroom rules? At this time, your teachers can pause the video and go over your classroom rules with you. And I want you to answer the question, is Shireen following your classroom rules? Maybe on your classroom rules you have being kind or making your dear teacher happy and things like that. Go over those rules and talk about if Shireen is being a good student and following the rules. Okay, so I think we all have decided that she is not following the rules because she's not being kind and respectful to others, or she's not making her dear teacher happy by being kind and respectful to her classmates. Okay, all right, so now let's play part 4. See what happens. Okay, so we have finally come to the second R of helping stop bullying. So the second R is report, which is what Henry did. He went to his teacher and he told his teacher that he recognized the first R, that he is being bullied by Shireen. His teacher gave him some good advice to go and use his firm and respectful voice and ask her to stop. Okay, that's the first thing that we do. We use our firm and respectful voice and tell them, "Hey, you're bullying me, you need to stop, or I'm going to go to the principal, or I'm going to talk to the counselor." But we're going to refuse. Okay, so let's see how Henry refuses to let the bullying continue. So it looks like Henry has refused to continue to let the bullying happen to him. Okay, so let's talk real quick about he recognized that he was being bullied because he thought, you know what, this is happening every day. It's happening every day at lunch. I'm not one to eat. I feel nervous around her. She's calling me names. She's pushing me or elbowing me in the lunch line. Correct. So I recognize that I'm being bullied. Okay. And then he came up with a plan to report it. Okay. He went to his teacher and he reported what was going on. His teacher gave him some advice to refuse to let that to continue. His teacher took action by moving Shireen in the lunch line, but oh, she wasn't done yet. She's a bully. She wasn't done hurting Henry. So Henry had to refuse to continue to let it happen. It takes a lot of guts sometimes to stand up to your bully, but sometimes you have got to refuse. You have got to say, "Hey, this is bullying. You need to stop." Use your respectful voice. Okay, use a strong, firm voice. Don't hit them back. Don't call them names back. Don't punch them back. Because here's why: if you start doing all that stuff back, me and Mr. Ledford and Miss Lynn, we're going to think that you're also bullying. Okay. You cannot hit them back. You cannot push them back. You cannot call them names back because that's not the right thing to do. All right. You have got to report it, refuse, and stand up for yourself in a respectful, kind way. Okay. And then if that doesn't work, that's when we will take over and help you with your bullying problem. But always try to refuse the bullying first. Okay, so we're going to do the last part of the video and see how it turns out. Let's see how it turns out for Henry. After Okay, so it worked out for Henry, and I'm so happy. But I want you to practice over the next couple of days. Next week, we're going to have our last bullying lesson. I want you to practice recognizing when someone is being bullied, okay? Now, remember, this is very important. You can't call somebody a bully if they just bother you one time, all right? That means they made a bad choice, and we have to give people second chances, okay? So if they bother you one time, it's not bullying. It has to happen over and over again. Now, that doesn't mean you can't report that to your teacher. You're allowed to if someone kicked you or hurt you or something that like that. Please, make sure your teacher is aware. But don't call it bullying if it's just happened once. It's a bad choice or it's a disagreement. Okay? So practice your recognizing and your reporting and your refusing over the next few days. And then next week, we're going to learn about bystander. What is a bystander? Okay. So you all have a great full week of school, and I will see you next week.